Committee on Rules hereby convenes this meeting. For the record, today is Wednesday, November 22nd, and the time is now 3:07 p.m. The Core Director, Mrs. Janine Cordero, will now call the roll of members.
Senator Lee, Senator Atta, Speaker Cruz, Vice Speaker Terlahi, Senator Uggan, Senator Nelson, Senator Rodriguez, Senator San Augustine, Senator San Nicolas, Senator Espaldon, Senator Torres. Madam Chair, you do have a quorum.
Mrs. Osmasi, does the chair hear a motion to excuse members not present?
So move.
So moved by Senator Uggan, seconded by Speaker Cruz. Any objection? Hearing none. It's been moved and seconded that members not present be excused. No objection. Motion carries. And I just want to give everybody an opportunity to review the core minutes from our October 18th, 2017 meeting. So we'll take a moment to do that.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move for the approval of the minutes as highlighted, subject to technical corrections.
It's been a motion by Senator Uggan, seconded by Senator San Augustine. Any objection? So moved. We'll now have the Legislative Secretary report for document tracking. The Legislative Secretary report to date is as follows. 14 appointments have been submitted by the governor thus far, and all are pending. I'd like to state for the record that 3 of those appointments have met their potential due date, and the respective committees have been notified. 7 zone changes have been submitted by the governor, and all have been approved by the governor's office. In addition, 7 proposed rules and regulations have been submitted thus far, and the compiler of laws has been informed. For more information on any of the appointments, the zone changes, and the rules and regulations, they can be found on our website at www.guamlegislature.org. Moving on to our session agenda. Committee reports for the following items have been duly filed with the Committee on Rules. As part of our old business, that includes bills number 5, 6, 18, 29, 34, 39, 42, 74, 75, 81, 92, 104, 114, 161, 163, and Resolution 107. With regards to new business, bill number 45 as corrected by the prime sponsor, Bill number 86 as corrected by the prime sponsor, Bill number 145 as corrected by the prime sponsor, Bill number 164, Bill number 166, Bill number 177 as amended by the Committee on Culture and Justice, and Resolution 239. Are there any motions to place these items on the session agenda? Vice Speaker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move Bill number 177 be placed on the agenda. It's regarding electronic monitoring for family violence and other cases.
Do I hear a second? Second. Seconded by Senator Joe San Augustine. Any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. That's Bill 177. Vice Speaker?
Yes, thank you. I would also like to make a motion on behalf of Senator Nelson, who's not present today, to place Bill number 139-34. It's an act to approve terms and conditions of Guam Power Authority revenue bonds to refund outstanding Guam Power Authority revenue bonds.
139?
139-34.
And I'll just note for the record that that committee report did not meet the core deadline, but it has been received by the Committee on Rules, and that's bill number 139-34 COR. So moved by the Vice Speaker. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Speaker Cruz. Any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Vice Speaker?
Yes, on behalf of Senator Nelson, I'd also like to request that 3 appointments to the Guam Housing Corporation Board of Directors be put on the agenda. Those are for Tomas Leon Guerrero Flores, Francisco A. Florig, and Sandra F. Berdalio.
Sujos Mahasi, I'd just like to note for the record that these appointments were received after the Committee on Rules deadline. The motion to move the appointments onto the session agenda has been seconded by Speaker Cruz. Any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. For the appointments of Francisco Florig, Tomas Leon Guerrero Flores, and Sandra F. Berdalio to the Guam Housing Corporation Board of Directors. Vice Speaker? Okay. Senator San Agustin, you're recognized.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that bill number 45-34 be added onto for the session. 45, you want me to read the whole bill? As corrected by the prime sponsor, amended by the Committee on General Government Operation, it deals with the primary election. It's a long list. Well, I can read it all out.
Second, Madam Chair.
Is there? It's okay? Yeah? You second it?
I'm sorry, moved by Senator San Agustin, seconded by Senator Uggan. Any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator San Agustin.
Also, Madam Chair, I'd like to move Bill 164-34, an act to add a new Section 2120 to Chapter 2, Title 19 of the Guam Code annotated relative to protection against discrimination on the basis of sex, gender identification, and gender expression.
Seconded by Speaker Cruz. Any objection to placing Bill number 164 onto the session agenda? Hearing none, so moved. Senator San Agustin.
Yes, Bill 124 and 125. Bill 124, introduced by Senator Dennis Rodriguez, an act to add Article 2A to Chapter 12, Part 1 of Title 10, Guam Code annotated for the purpose of adopting the Interstate Medical Licensure Compact pursuant to law.
I'd also just like to note that Bill number 124 did not meet the core deadline. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Uggan. Any objection?
Is the committee report available, though? Has it been filed?
It's my understanding that it's available online.
Okay.
Any objection to Bill number 124 being placed onto the session agenda? Hearing none, so moved. Senator San Agustin.
Madam Chair, Bill number 125-34 COR, introduced by Senator Rodriguez, an act to add new Section 12208H to Chapter 12, Part 1, Article 2 of Title 10, Guam Code annotated relative to the establishment of a visiting physician temporary permit.
I'd also like to just note that this committee report did not meet the core deadline. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Senator Uggan. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved.
Madam Chair, the only thing I have is I have 2 committee reports that I will be giving it hopefully by the end of the day for 2 appointees that was heard. And that was Ms. Gail Hendricks and Mr. Ocampo.
Senator Atta, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place Bill 209-34 on the session agenda. Bill 209 amends the solid waste operations budget to its full amount of $19+ million.
Thank you, Senator Atta. Just wanted to note for the record that this committee report did not meet the core deadline. Do I hear a second on Senator Atta's movement of Bill 209, seconded by Senator Joe San Agustin? Any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Ada?
That's it, I'm done, thank you.
Zusmasi. Okay, Senator Espaldon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I move Bill number 86-34, introduced by Senator Castro, and this is relative to community-based fisheries management.
Second?
Seconded by Senator Ada. Any objection?
None.
Hearing none, so moved.
And Madam Chair, also just looking for your direction on this one. On resolutions, will we allow it to introduce it later on after we introduce bills? Or move bills on? Or can we do one right now? Otherwise, I'd like to also move resolution number 242-34, introduced by Senator Estevez, relative to requesting that Congresswoman Berdallo and members of Congress seek an alternative source of funding for the war reparations due to the people of Guam. That's resolution 242-34.
You have it?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Uggan. Any objection?
None.
Hearing none, so moved. Senator
Thank you,
Espaldon?
Madam Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you. Senator Uggan, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, with the consideration of the members of the Committee on Rules, I'd like to request the placement of Bill 157-34, which is relative to authorizing Jose D. Leon Guerra Commercial Port to issue revenue bonds and other indebtedness for the purpose of financing or refinancing improvements and/or working capital relative to the upgrades of that particular facility. And if it's with the concurrence also with the members, Madam Chair, I'd like to request that it be placed as the first item on the agenda.
Second?
There was a motion to place Bill 157 by Senator Uggan, seconded by Senator San Augustine. I just wanted to note that it did not meet our Committee on Rules deadline, but the report has been filed.
Yes,
and it's my understanding that it's available online.
And I want to thank the Chairman of Appropriations for providing that committee report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank
So
you.
you want it at the top of the agenda?
So let's take that as two separate motions. So just to has been moved by Senator Uggan, seconded by Senator San Augustine. Any objection?
I have no objection to placing it on the agenda.
So this is just to place it on the agenda.
All right. Okay, I have no objection.
No objection?
Did they provide all the things that we had asked for at the public hearing?
I believe so. I believe the speaker did receive all that information.
Hearing no objection, motion carries. Senator Uggan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, like was mentioned a little earlier, I'd like to request the consideration of the members of the Committee on Rules for the placement of Bill 157-34 on the top of the legislative agenda, please.
Do I hear a second? Seconded by Senator San Augustine. Any objection?
May I, why place it at the top of the agenda?
Because of the sensitivity of the timing. So, and not only that, it would allow for us to be able to pull in all the port personnel. I did mention that, in fact, we're looking at going into session next week, and if they can make themselves readily available upon the inception.
Will we be going to the Committee of the Whole?
That would be the call of the Chairman of Appropriations, but the Speaker. Would it be the wish of the body to go into Committee in the Whole? If that's the case, then I'll respect the wishes of the body.
Well, I think there's other players at the table other than the port. There's certainly GITA. I think they need to come to the table, and I think a Committee of the Whole would be appropriate in this case. Okay. Well, but if we're going to do that now, we're going to need to inform GITA because...
I will ensure that if there's any other government representative who would like there, inclusive of the Port Authority, GITA, please let me know, and then I'll ensure that we communicate appropriately.
Okay.
Thank you, Senator.
Do you mind?
Just to be clear, Madam Chair,
Just want to clarify the sensitivity. Can you just clarify what you mean by the sensitivity, time sensitivity?
Just in reference to making sure that we have all the representatives to provide the information, and then the body acting accordingly, whether in fact to vote it up or vote it down.
But it has been reported out by committee with the recommendation to do pass? Only because I'm just now aware that this is actually at this status, and there seems to be a rush, which suggests that there's a timeline to
Senator,
affect a bond
I certainly
borrowing or so.
appreciate you raising that as a concern, but at the last Committee on Rules meeting, I also suggested that, in fact, if the committee report was completed, that I was going to request consideration be placed on the agenda. At that time, the Speaker was still waiting for some additional documentation and review of all the documents submitted by the Port Authority. I respected that, and I'm very fortunate that the Speaker, as the Chair of Appropriations, has reported it out of his committee with all the necessary documents as requested during the public hearing and subsequent to the public hearing. That information has been provided.
Thank you for the clarification.
Madam Chair, if I may, just one last thing. If it's going to be placed at the top of the agenda, and so since Friday is, I guess, a holiday, so I would imagine, since there was discussion about a potential committee of the whole, that the phone calls need to be made today, right? Just
Thank you, Senator.
clarification. Yeah, right. Thank you.
Can you clarify whether it was amended by committee?
Yes, they were appropriate, Mr. Speaker, if I may, or please, Mr. Speaker, because you closed out the committee report. There were amendments made, and as a matter of fact, some of the amendments that were made was the overall figure was adjusted, and also there was some verbiage and language modified so that, in fact, it allows for as much flexibility. A good example is $2 million is appropriated for the repair of, let's say, Hotel Wharf, hypothetically. Language was inserted approximately $2 million so that, in fact, there's a little bit of flexibility. Also, it was tightened. There was one particular bank loan that was removed from consideration for refinancing, and that's because it did not meet the 2% threshold that was discussed during the public hearing by the Port Authority officials. So there are some amendments, and if you would like, we can provide you with a summary, or the Speaker can.
The total amount was reduced from 80 to 70, and the interest rate was reduced from 7 to 6.5. But that was our committee's recommendation. What happens on the floor happens on the floor, but that's how we reported it out with those three amendments.
Madam Chair, at the public hearing, the question was raised because I believe the port did a rate study to increase the rates to generate, I believe, what was it, $45 million to, was it 45 to fund the projects that were identified. But now it's going from, but the bill initially asked for 80, and now it's being down to 70. But then I guess it's kind of a chicken or the egg. Have they already done the rate study of how much increase is going to be needed to be able to support a $70 million bond issuance? Because right now they did a rate study only to be able to support $45 million.
All that information will be provided during the course of the discussion. But yes, they have internally done some of the assessments, the studies in terms of what it would cost for particular figures.
Okay. Okay. I fine. I trust the senator, the sponsor, will have things in order for Monday. But I also want to point out that on Bill 209, there's also a timing issue there, because the following day we go in, the Gov Guam again goes into the district court for a status hearing, and the disposition of Bill 209 is going to be very important, because that was one of the points of contention at the previous status hearing. It certainly will be best if we can go into the status hearing at least knowing that it's down in the voting file. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. So I move then, I'd like to move then to place Bill 209 at the top of
I
the
think you
agenda.
need to withdraw your motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll withdraw my motion for the initial placement, or the placement of 157-34 at the top of the agenda, subsequent to.
Okay.
So second. Go ahead.
So, finish, or do I still need to make that motion to put it at the top?
Please.
Okay, so I would like to move to place Bill 209 at the top of the session agenda.
Here, a second. Seconded by Senator Uggan. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved.
Thank you.
At this time, Madam Chair, if I may, move for the placement of Bill 157-34 as the second item on the agenda.
Seconded by Senator San Augustine. Any objection?
No objection.
Hearing none, so moved. Thank you.
GPA refinance on too?
Senator Ada?
So, Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we place Bill 139, number 3 on the session agenda.
I'll second that. Gita will be here, and so it's probably a good use of time to have them at the same time.
Okay. Moved by Senator Ada, seconded by Speaker
Well,
Cruz.
he asked to put his number 2.
Madam Chair, are we going to be in the committee of the whole from 209 to his bill? All 3 bills will be in the committee of the whole? Is that what we're anticipating? From your bill on to his bill and then your bill again?
Well, we didn't discuss whether Bill 209 was going to go into a committee of the whole.
Okay. All right, I was just curious that if we're
But the 2 bond bills should probably be
a committee in the whole.
side by side. So
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
become one.
okay. But there's no, at least at this meeting, there's no desire for 209 to go in a committee of the whole. I don't think it's necessary.
The motion to place Bill number 139 third on our agenda was moved by Senator Ada, seconded by Speaker Cruz. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. Any other motions to place items on the session agenda? Hearing none, we'll move to the extension of remarks. And on behalf of the Committee on Rules, I'd just like to wish all of you and your families and everybody watching a very happy Thanksgiving. And now we'll open up the floor for any further discussion by members. Does the chair hear a motion to adjourn? By Senator
Yeah, I move to
Espadon?
adjourn. Yes.
Seconded by Senator San Augustine. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. Thank you very much. Sudosmasi.